episode 94. Welcome back, my little minions. A week late and $7 short. Please forgive us for the disappearance of last week. You see, King Koopa discovered our hideout and kicked us out. But hey, that hot tub wasn't getting any attention, so come on, Bowser. So it was best to move our order of operations somewhere more cozy and dank. Dr. Robotnik's scrapyard. Besides, he never comes out here, so Carpe Robot. He's the robot, I guess. Plus, he's pretty tied up this week since Sonic's back in the spotlight after 16 years. Speaking of which, where's my manners? I'm Mega Drive 20XX, and with me as always is my faithful sidekick, Thrav Ronde.
What's up?
And you have stumbled onto Act 3 and the finale of our Super Sonic special entitled The Redemption. We last left off on a familiar note for you hardcore Sega fans. Project Sega Katana. What was it? What is it? Let us begin in the year 1998. After the decline of the Sega Saturn in North America, Sony's PlayStation was king of the 32-bit market, and the N64 was well respected by this time. Yet Sega told us to fear not and jump into the next best thing, the 128-bit era. With the project codenamed Katana, basically it was a modified motherboard which matched Sega's gorgeous arcade powerhouse CPU nicknamed Naomi. Now ladies, if your name is Naomi, and you're listening to this, just look into the mirror and say, I've got it going on, cause damn, did she ever! Countless games in the arcade were created because of her beauty, like Crazy Taxi, House of the Dead 2, Ikaruga, Radiant Silver Gun 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, Soul Calibur, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, etc., etc., etc. I could go on for days. She did a lot of damage when Sega ruled the arcade scene by the end of Millennium, and wanted to bring that glory home with the Project Katana. This was a great turning point in video game history, Sega presenting itself like the Genesis by bringing home the arcade once again. However, the truth was the arcade scene was only a few years from dying from the malls and laundromats of North America. How was Sega going to wow us? Simply with a dream come true that had been promised so long ago. Gracing the cover of EGM in 1999 was Sonic the Hedgehog and his brand new and 3D platform entitled Sonic Adventure. Project Katana was confirmed as the Sega Dreamcast. Shh, it's thinking, as the commercials proudly stated. I don't know. I just don't know. I agree with Keith Avacari that this was a dream thought up by some scientists, and it just happened, okay? The Sega Dreamcast launched in North America on September 9th, 1999. 9999, so to speak. Perfect day for anniversaries, like the Super Nintendo in 1991 and the Sony PlayStation in 1995. Lucky day to be alive. As a Sonic and Sega fan, I would have to say. We were blessed with a signature Sonic game that used Dreamcast hardware as a perfect tech demo that sold 2.5 million copies to this very day, still making it the best-selling Dreamcast game ever made. However, this dream come true contains some of the funniest and the most horrible dialogue and glitches in a game. As if some of the songs in the soundtrack weren't bad enough as the character designs like Big the Cat. Sadly, as much as I want to avoid the decline of Sonic, it just keeps getting worse here, people, and in some cases just a vile pile of puke. Sonic Adventure, as the series, however, is one exception regardless of the glitches, soundtrack with awkward lyrics, and bad voice acting. We actually accepted it as it was, which baffles me why in this day and age, why cannot we show the same love of some of these games that are bashed, such as this, but still remain legendary, like Resident Evil. Sure, Barry Burton can tell you where the hell the escape route is first, but has to show off his super duper gun, or a.k.a. I have this, and then give you a weapon that's really powerful that you can't use until you find the grenade launcher. Thanks, Barry, you giblet sandwich. I digress. The game was a masterpiece in the eyes of youth. It set a new wave of a generation of Sonic fans. Sonic's new look and style gave him more of a cutting edge. Same transition can be compared to Mickey Mouse 1930 versus the 1950 style. Weird green eyes, curls on his quails, and somehow his attitude was missing. Sometimes Sonic had a cocky attitude with the one-liners like, I'll play with you some other time, but the tone of voice was just too lighthearted. The can-do attitude we were so used to just vanished. Instead, his sidekicks took it instead, like Knuckles the Echidna, for example. Tails, however, molded into this annoying, whiny little 6-year-old with a super scientist intellect, which drove away from the original series of how these characters were supposed to be. Amy Rose returned, but with a stereotypical dumb blonde heroine instead of the damsel in distress. A hammer weapon? Okay, Ramona Flowers. Wait a minute. Light bulb! Hey, you know what? That could have been Ramona's character design from the Scott Pilgrim universe. Who knows? But the weirdest characters to the Sonic title were E102 Gamma, a Dr. Robotnik creation with a change of heart, and Big the Cat, the dumbest, biggest, suckiest character ever made in gaming history, with a pet sidekick who was a frog named, well, Froggy. Hold on, I need a drink. Okay. Moving on from the bad memory of Froggy. After enduring all the 6 story modes of these characters, you unlock Super Sonic, which has to be one of the best damn finales ever. You take on this beast called Chaos 7, who is the size of Godzilla while being supersonic. The band Crush 40 is blaring in the background, and it doesn't get any better than this. Or does it? 2001, A Sonic Odyssey. The 10th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic Adventures series spawned an amazing sequel that spring. However, Sega was filing bankruptcy that very same year, and the Sony PlayStation 2 launched the year before on October 30th, 2000. Many will know and say this, but with a heavy heart, I do declare the Sony did murder the Sega. You see, everyone knew the PS2 was coming, everyone held out and ignored the Dreamcast. Hell, in fact, the president of Sega of America left Sega 1 week before the Dreamcast launched. Damn you, Peter Moore! He went on to become the vice president of Microsoft's first console project, the Xbox. After 2007, Peter left Microsoft and now comfortably works for EA Sports. You know what, Peter? You were dead wrong. In fact, to this very day, in this very same year, someone managed to create one Dreamcast game, which will be released this December 2010. Thank you very much. So kiss it, Peter, you murderer. So what's going to happen to Sonic? No Sega system, no Sonic, Panic at the Disco! Ah! Yet, hark hark, summer 2001, Nintendo GameCube emerges at the E3 show alongside Microsoft's Xbox. Sega steps forward and announces Phantasy Star Online, which was a massively online player game that was already popular in Dreamcast. Also, a shocking surprise was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Holy bat crap, Batman! Sega's sleeping with the enemy? Say it ain't so! Your love is a life taker. Nintendo humbly took Sonic under their wing, and not only that, but for us 2D lovers, Nintendo's newest portable at the time, the Game Boy Advance, introduced a new portable Sonic game called Sonic Advance, which, by the way, rocked the house. However, I had to give a quick shout out and respect to the Lone Shark Neo Geo Pocket Color Sonic Pocket Adventure from 1999, which mimics Sonic 2 to a perfect tease. Both are still my favorite portable Sonic games, plus mad respect to the people at THQ Incorporated for publishing it in America when Sonic and Sega needed help the most, especially on Nintendo Game Boy. One more thing I like to point out was the addictive KO Garden series in the Sonic Adventure series. It was like a virtual pen on the go, sort of like Digimon or Pokemon. The Dreamcast memory card called the VMU, which stood for Virtual Memory Unit, could hold 1 KO, and you took care of it by feeding it and playing mini games to help it level up, which was pretty cool. The GameCube and the GBA brought that feature by making the GBA your portable KO Garden either with or without the Sonic Advance cartridge. Well, it was a sad day for us fans, but we followed regardless. Now, to describe Sonic Adventure 2 is like the Citizen Kane of the Sonic series. Identity crisis with the introduction of Shadow the Hedgehog that is hauntingly similar to Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII fame, if you think about it. I mean, who am I? Am I Zack? Am I Cloud? I want to be Zack, but I really can't. It's like, I'm Shadow the Hedgehog. Am I good? Am I evil? It's like, am I a total ripoff of Venom from Spider-Man? I don't know. But there was also more backstory of the Dr. Robotnik's family, and for some reason the Adventure series turned his name to the Japanese name, which was Dr. Eggman instead, which causes confusion to little kids these days when I say the name Robotnik. Ugh, kids these days. Meanwhile, another character was introduced named Rogue the Bat. Well, really, questions... I mean, what really questions is, what the hell was Sega thinking? Look at her. She's supposed to be 16 years old according to the instruction booklet, and she looks like a stripper. Good lord. It's supposed to be a kid's game. Ugh. Okay, the good news, Big the Cat and Amy are gone, thank God. Instead, it's 2 teams of good and evil. Good is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, the way it should be. Bad was Shadow, Rogue, and Dr. Eggman. Now, that's a nice surprise there. The gameplay was different since each level felt random. Since you didn't know who you were going to play as next if you were playing it for the first time. However, both teams played exactly the same. like Sonic and Shadow, Tails and Dr. Eggman, and Knuckles and Rogue. Basically, the game was just the same thing over and over again, but just different sides. The game's finale was wow. I mean, wow. Sonic and Shadow team up as Super Sonic and Super Shadow and take on a new giant menace the size of a dinosaur named the Bio Lizard. Crush 40 returns for the soundtrack and just like it rocks the house on that final battle. However, Knuckles' theme song has to be some of the goofiest ass lyrics, which sound like Mr. T if he was constipated. I mean, it sounded like, my name is Knuckles, sucker, gotta find the emerald. Battle mode added to the Cube edition. Like, but I don't know. I get aggressive about it. But it's like moon on an island. I gotta get the emeralds. I'm like, oh god. Wow.
That's awesome.
That's like great. The battle mode they added to the GameCube edition added two-player split-screen fun, but fell short and drove away from the main game as a distraction. Sometimes I felt the battle mode was over before you even knew it. Hey, stay tuned for part 4. We got the last one. Seriously, this is the last one. Then we can finally close episode 2 to a nice conclusion.